All right, so my phone isn't charged, which means that I can't show skin. But that's okay. You don't need to see me anyway. You can just close your eyes and imagine me. I'm very handsome right now. Didn't shave. My hair isn't really up to standard because it's very hot in the room, so I'm a little bit sweaty. But other than that, I'm just as handsome as always. And Pancake is streaming in 30 minutes. That's really great to know. That's cool. Hello, fellow insomniacs. I'm not an insomniac. It's just that my wife isn't home. She left to her parents. She asked me if I wanted to go. I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, why? Leave me alone, women. I want to make money. I want to make cash. I want to bring the bacon. And she went like, okay, fine, but I want to see my parents. I go. And my in-laws are in a farm. They have an outhouse and stuff. So yeah, that's why I'm not really that excited. But there's a lot of news. I get to spend time with you guys, and I get to try to cope with the fact that Arch said that Dune 2, the sequel, is going to be a bad movie. I hope it's not. I really hope it's not, because I actually like the first Dune. But who knows. Anyway, right, so Lizzo got into a little bit of a pickle. Now, if you don't know who Lizzo is, this lady came into my attention. Like, I had no idea who she is. And by the way, like most famous people, I noticed this. It's not just like most famous people. Video games and movies and comic books, they only come to my attention through outrage culture, right? Like someone does something that's outrageous. Conservatives point it out, and then when I look at it, I'm like, yeah, this is definitely outrageous. But then you have like progressives that try to defend the outrage. So in the case of Lizzo, I believe like she was dressed very provocatively, to the point where if a woman with a different body size would have dressed like her, they would have cried misogyny. But again, like, she was allowed to dress very provocatively. And she was singing what appeared to be a very old flute. Now, the flute was from the United States. It had some rich history. I think it belonged to one of the founding fathers. The problem with this is that America isn't a very old country, right? And by that I mean it's like not thousands of years old like European countries are. So for them, like a 100 years old relic, from a national standpoint, it's actually pretty valuable, right? Like it's a thesaurus, we call it here. Thesaurus. Something that is supposed to be cherished, right? It's part of your nation's history. So you're supposed to treat it with a little bit of decorum. Now, she has played it before, and she was dressed properly, and she just played it, but apparently no one cared. And because no one cared, they did a redo. And on the redo, she dressed very provocatively and was twerking while singing it, right? So this is what caused the outrage. And of course, like, the media ignored the first part that, they erased it from history. Never happened. And they were like, oh, conservatives are bigots. But it's interesting because conservatives didn't have anything to complain about when she sang it properly with the respect that artifact is owed. So anyway, like that's how I know about Lizzo, right? Like, that's how she came into my attention. So, like, I assume that a person that gets to sing such a flute is a person of high prestige, right? Like, you must be at your peak of your career. Like, you will never get to do something so important, so monumentally significant like that in your entire career. Like, that is it, right? Like if you manage to sing something which is from a historical relic, I mean, like, what can be more important than that? What can be, like, more monumentally significant? Nothing, right? And if you are a person that is allowed to do that, right? Because, like, everyone wants to sing something like that. Like, everyone wants to touch a relic that's so old and ancient. So obviously not everyone can, because it's a crystal flute. So it would be damaged if people do that, and it's only a select few group of people that can. So, like, if they chose her, like, she must be a person of immense skill, a person of immense quality, right? But now I am shocked, I tell you. I am absolutely shocked to find out that she is under sexual harassment allegations, and fat shaming. Lizzo was fat shaming people allegedly. Right? Like, Lizzo was fat shaming people allegedly. I can't believe it, chat. I refuse to believe it. Like, this is not the world that I live in. You play a flute that sings. Shut up. Me no speaking English. Fuck is wrong with you? No, but like, unironically, right? Like, you need to be a very impressive person in order to do these things. So, anywho, let's look at the accusations. Like, how, out of all the things, you know, like, literally, not by Lizzo. Pop star Lizzo is being sued by 3, right? So, not 1, not 2. Now, I was told to believe all women. By the way, you notice how we haven't heard that in ages? Like the chant, believe all women? I haven't heard it in quite a while, but apparently it exists. So, pot calling the kettle black. Well, you know, like that, like one doesn't contradict the other. Like you can be a smoker and tell other people to stop smoking. Like, that's fine. There's no contradiction. Here we go. So, I was told to believe all women, and I also noticed, with some level of surprise, that we don't hear that expression anymore. And when you look at why you don't hear the expression believe all women, is because, well, now women aren't that popular as trans people, right? Like, trans people are in vogue now. But it's also the fact that if you look at what happened with the Me Too thing, it didn't really hit at conservatives, right? A lot of the misogynists happen to be Democrats, politicians, CEOs, person of, like, renowned journalists, actors. So they were like, okay, like, maybe we shouldn't believe women this much. Like, maybe we should believe women a little bit less. But still, I have been trained by that era. I have been trained by that generation. And I understand that we need to believe all women. And in this case, we don't believe one woman. We have to believe 3 women that are correlating the story, right? And they are saying that Lizzo created a hostile work environment. Like, I refuse to believe that. Like, not Lizzo. Again, like, she was tasked with singing... Sorry, my bad. Playing the crystal flute. Hello, Rorona Zorro. Welcome to the show. The Believe All Women movement stopped the moment Amber Heard lost to Johnny Depp. No, it stopped before that, actually. But yeah, like, the Johnny Depp thing, like, what was fascinating... A lot of women like Johnny Depp. Like, unironically, he was considered to be a very hot actor. I'm not good at judging men. Like, I don't know. But, like, Johnny Depp was considered to have a lot of sex appeal. And when he was abused by Amber Heard, a lot of women sided with their husbando. It's kind of like your favorite anime girl getting unfairly targeted, right? So, like, if people attack Pippa, if people go after Cliche, you're like, what? Why are they doing this? Like, why are they so evil? And you go after them with criticism. Why the fuck is Zeph keep messaging me? Fuck is wrong with you, Zeph? I'm live streaming. Holy shit, can it not wait? Jesus Christ, like, another message on Discord, and another, and another. Let me give him the live stream link. Good God. Shut the fuck up. Yo, shut the fuck up. Jesus. Good God. Every single fucking time. Every single time. No exception. I'm streaming. People... Like, no one messages me the whole fucking day. The whole day, I'm doing nothing and I'm bored. And I'm like, well, won't someone talk to me? Won't someone play a video game? Nothing. The moment I stream, it's like the spirit of Satan is going into these people. And they're like, oh, now I need to message V. Now I need to... Anyway, right. Hold on. Let me just bring it back to where it was. Right. Lost my fucking train of thought. Good God. There we go. Anyway, right, so, 3 ladies accused Lizzo for, creating a hostile work environment. I wonder, like, why is that like, it's not a crime, by the way. I never understood that accusation, like, creating a hostile work environment. Like, it's not illegal, okay? If I turn off the air conditioning, who fucking cares? Not to mention the HR lady creates a hostile work environment, but for some reason that's acceptable. So, the legal action includes accusation of sexual, religious, and racial harassment. Man, I'm really curious. How can Lizzo do racial harassment? What are the ladies black though? Like, hold on, I need to look at the ladies that are filing this lawsuit. False imprisonment. Like, this is interesting. How can Lizzo do false imprisonment? Like, usually these things happen on the stage, right? Like, the backstage, there's a lot of people, there's cameras and shit. Like, how was Lizzo falsely imprisoned? I'm willing to believe this because it's like such a far-fetched claim. And it's done by 3 women. Like, unless they have a lawyer that gave them the wrong definition of false imprisonment. Like, what exactly did she do, chat? She locked them in the fridge. Isn't that a trope, though? With women in the refrigerator? She did stand indoors and block the exit. Yeah, but like, you'd have to block all exits. Unironically, like, at least in Romanian law, that is false imprisonment. So we don't, like we don't consider it false imprisonment. We call it depriving a person of freedom. And basically, this is actually shocking, but like, if you're in a train station, no, not in a train, you're in a train, right? And you think about those classic trains, like not these modern trains that have like many chairs and shit. Like, there were these classic trains where you had like a compartment, right? And this was actually told to us at law school. So you're in the compartment with another person, and they have to get off because it's their stop. Like, if you prevent them from getting off just for the sake of them missing their stop, like, that is depriving them of their liberty. Like, you're depriving them of their freedom. Now, obviously, it depends, like, what you're doing. Like, you're not going to get the same sentence as someone that kidnaps a person and, like, locks them in a basement for, like, 5 years. But it's still, you know, it's interesting to know that, like, that is a crime. So, yeah, like, technically, if Lizzo was in this situation, like, there's only one exit, and they want to leave, and Lizzo just stays in front of the exit for, like, 2 hours and refuses to let them leave, yeah, that's false imprisonment. Blocking an exit is imprisonment. Not if you have 2 exits. Right? Like, you can literally choose to go to another exit. So, it's not like that. Anyway. The singer is also accused of fat shaming or pursuing a dancer to touch a performer's breasts. Lizzo! I can't believe it. No, like, the U.S. government, sorry, the U.S. people in charge of the crystal flute would have never allowed her to touch it. They would never allow, they do not have such a bad judge of character that they would allow such an individual to touch the crystal flute. Never. Wouldn't happen. Lizzo and others who are accused have been approached for comment. The singer has not yet responded publicly to the allegations made in the case, which remain to be tested in court. I mean, that's the smart thing to do, right? Like, the press isn't your friend. You never want to talk with them. There's no reason to talk with the press. Ministry of Wrong Thing, thank you for the $10. I appreciate it. Did you notice the similar theme with Tim Pool's assessment of women reacting to being told they look like Lizzo, with the cop hearing they look like a lesbian? In both cases, they actually hate it. That is an interesting point. And I raised that with the cop, which was upset that she was compared to a lesbian, right? Like, the only reason you'd be upset is if you think lesbians aren't beautiful. I mean, it is what it is. Right? But the thing with the Lizzo, it's kind of like it is though. You know, I refuse to believe that like, all human beings, you know, we look at something and we can tell if it's beautiful or not. Like, what I mean is, obviously, like, there's different standards of beauty, right? And like, if you have a painting of a beautiful mountain and a painting of a beautiful valley, you're going to have people that offer different opinions which one is more beautiful. But if you have a painting of a garbage can and a painting of a beautiful mountain, very few, if any, are going to say that the garbage can is more beautiful. Like, we inherently know if something is over a 7 or below a 4, right? Like, you don't need to go to art school in order to learn, because like, certain things just exist, like symmetry, beautiful colors, You know, like certain things just speak to people. So basically, I refuse to believe that left-leaning people do not have this ability to tell if something is beautiful or not. Like, even the ones that wear the mental illness haircut, they know it's not beautiful, but they do it to be a rebel. Like, they do it as a public statement. So the thing when like women will say, right, like in public, like, do you think Lizzo is beautiful? Like, they will say yes because not just that they believe it, right? Like, it's not that they think, well, Lizzo is a 10 out of 10 and she would win the beauty awards. They don't think that. But they know that if they don't say the correct things, they get ostracized from their circles. They're considered bad people, right? So, like, basically what they do is they say the correct things so they don't get in trouble. Like, this is what happens. But when you call them beautiful like Lizzo, they get upset. And I don't even think if they get upset, because, like, they must be really dumb if they don't understand what Tim Pool is doing, right? So, like, if I haven't seen, like, Tim Pool calling women like Lizzo, but if I was one of those women, I would be like, oh, well, thank you. You think, like, I'm a famous person? Like, really? That's really cool. Like, that's the correct way of approaching this, right? Because you gotta play with the crowd. Anyway, so the singer has not yet responded. Ariana Davis, Crystal Williams, and Noel Rodriguez are the former dancers bringing the case against the singer, her dance captain, and her production company, Big Girl, Big Touring. Oh my fucking God. I mean, like, again, it's part of the identity now. BGBT. The legal action filed in LA includes allegations that the dancers were pressured into attending sex shows and interacting with the dancers between 2021 and 2023. Among the claims against Lizzo, whose real name... Oh, this is what Arch pointed out, and I agree with him. Like, the moment they give, like, real name, you know you're not fucked up. Like, they're disavowing. Like, this is simply, like, disavowing. Like, when they go, like, power or real name. Because there have been so many articles of Lizzo up until now, and they never real named her. Not once. But now they're real naming, so it is a good point. She pressured Mrs. David to touch the breasts of a performer in a nightclub. After resisting, eventually acquiesced, fearing it may harm her future or her team if she didn't do so. Lizzo, who is known for celebrating her body and self-love, is also accused along with the dance choreographer Tanisha Scott of fat-shaming Mrs. Davis on a tour. Yeah, but, like, this is not a crime. This is what I find weird in American culture. Like, you get, like, serious crimes, like imprisonment, right? Like false imprisonment and shit. Like, this is a serious crime. You can go to prison for it, right? So they messed that up. Like, they meshed that up with, oh, well, she was fat shamed. Who the fuck cares? Like, you can't talk about something so serious. Like, imagine if I talk about the murder, and then I'm like, well, yeah, but, like, before they murdered him, they misgendered him or some shit. It's like, well... I think, like, that doesn't even need to be said at that point. Like, we already established he's a murderer. Like, nothing can make it worse than that, you know? What was the giant hot dog you ate? Ambassador or something like that. My God, I can't believe you remember. The giant hot dog I ate was called the Pervert. Was at a nightclub. No, not a nightclub, sorry. Like an American-style cafe. And it was, like, gigantic. It was, like, the size of a table. This is cancel culture, not crime. Literally. Yeah, like, they're doing everything. Like, they literally must hate this person. They're doing everything they can in order to ruin her. I generally, like, don't know whether or not she's guilty, but, like, she did play into this type of culture. Like, she literally played into the culture where, oh, you don't like the fact that I'm twerking while I'm singing a flute. Oh, you're a racist bigot. I hope you get fired. Like, she played into this, right? So don't go Pikachu face when the sharks are smelling blood in the water and they're now going after you with the same outrage culture that you are promoting. Like, these are the people you hang up with. I didn't hire them as dancers and shit. I would point out that I never had a single person that worked with me come out and complain that they were treated unfairly. And, like, meanwhile, Hassan Piker, the fucking millionaire, doesn't pay his editor. Anita Sarkeesian didn't pay her crew. Like, I have paid literally every single person that works with me, even if they ask no money. I came up and I said, look, like, you did this for me, I gotta pay you. And I struggled, by the way, because, like, especially when I'm making my video game, I'm just the one guy, right? So I'm paying everything from my pocket. But, like, even people that came up and said, hey, I'll do it for free, I still gave them money. And that's the type of person I am. And, like, no one ever complained that I made them do something they don't want, right? Like my artist will never come up and say, oh my god, well, V made us do something that we didn't like. No. So, like, if I can do it, how the fuck is it so fucking difficult for other people to do it? Lizzo figured out she was the center of the universe when she witnessed the Earth eclipse. She probably did. Like, dude, it's not that she's the center of the universe. She got to touch an actual relic of the past. None of you are going to do that. Like, you guys don't understand. Like, for the people who are passionate about history, especially if you're into music and arts, that crystal flute that she touched is beyond priceless. Like, that is like, I don't know. I'm trying to find like a correlation. It's like being in Britain and touching the original crown of England. You know, like something like that. Like, it's a monumental thing. So yeah, like when you get to do that, you get to feel that you're big shit. That like everyone should care and listen about what you say and who you are, because like you're an important person. I will not play Path of Exile. I just finished it. When Path of Exile took out, I actually don't even like playing these games in multiplayer. I'm sorry. Not priceless, but irreplaceable. How about both? I think it's priceless. I don't think you can put a sum of money on it. I really hate it when they put sum of money on certain art pieces. It's like putting a price on the Mona Lisa. Motherfucker, you're never going to sell it. Right? Like, if the Russian government comes up and says, like, we're going to give you 100 billion euros, give us the Mona Lisa, they will say no. I don't think, like, they're even legally allowed to sell it. So, yeah, I would say it's priceless. I got to sit at Lenin's desk in the Museum of the October. Yeah, but, like, you know what's the difference between the Lenin desk and this shit? There are other people that sat at Lenin's desk. This flute has only been handled by a couple of people. Like, like that's the whole shtick, right? Like, this one is more valuable because the general public doesn't have access to it. Literally, yes, that's such a good point. The flute was like Lizzo twerking with a Tutankhamun death mask. Yes, that is good. I guess like the Tutankhamun death mask is a little bit older, so like it has more value. But yeah, it's literally like going into Egypt and taking like a priceless artifact from a pharaoh and then twerking with it. Right? Like that is how fucking offensive it is. I'm a Romanian. I'm not an American. But I can look from the outside and I can tell you what she did was incredibly offensive, and I can understand why people took offense to it. Yeah, that is like the perfect analogy. Thank you. Going to Egypt, taking the death mask of Tutankhamun, and then twerking with it. Yeah, spot on. Twerking with the stone from the Kaaba. I guess like that would not be a correct analogy because like that has religious significance, right? So like that is even more precious, I would say. But the Tutankhamun mask is probably spot on. Like even that one has religious significance, but like no one worships the ancient gods of Egypt anymore, so it doesn't count. No, Russia, your military failed and you can't get the cultural win by buying the Mona Lisa. How much is the Mona Lisa? I'm actually fucking curious now. Is it expensive? It would be hilarious if someone can actually afford it. I'm pretty sure like Elon Musk would afford it. I don't even know like how they appraise. Yeah, so like apparently it's $1 billion, but like how do you appraise, right? Because the thing is like obviously it would go to an auction. So you'd have to see Like several people that want to buy it, and they would outbid each other. But like, it's not up for sale, and it will never be up for sale. So I don't understand why it has a price. Like, this is something that I never got. You know, they will say, well, everything has a price. Not the Mona Lisa. No, you can Google it. Yeah, I was shocked as well that it's only 1 billion. Because there are people who could act, like, there are private individuals that could actually afford it. Let me actually check. Can you buy the Mona Lisa? Now I'm actually curious. Can you buy the Mona Lisa? So yeah, it's not for sale at any price. It's owned by the French government. Most famous work of art in the world. And the crown jewels of French Museum and blah blah blah. Yeah. Mona Lisa replica set to fetch 300,000 euros. Yeah, but it's not the same. Could Jeff Bezos buy the Mona Lisa and eat it? What the fuck? Let me check. This one is interesting. After Jeff Bezos announced he would travel into space, Change.org petition is calling on the world's richest person to do something that would change the course, culture, and civilization forever. Buy and eat the Mona Lisa. The petition, which has over 5,000 signatures, why the fuck are we talking about it then, Forbes? Doesn't offer much in terms of specific. Nobody has eaten the Mona Lisa, and we want Jeff Bezos to do it. Though it's unclear why Bezos would want to purchase and then consume the Leonardo da Vinci masterpiece, he almost certainly could afford it. Apparently the painting was 50 billion euros. Okay, so Google lied to me. And he has 194 billion. The fact is, undoubtedly, that was inspired by one commentator, blah, blah, blah. The painting is almost certainly not for sale at any price. Owned by the French government, the Mona Lisa is the most famous work of art. And it's unlikely they will ever want to part with such an important national symbol, especially since it proceeds from selling the painting would be a drop in the bucket that the government brings more than 1 trillion euro tax in revenue every year. Yeah, like a lot of people go to France to see the fucking thing. Apparently the world's platform of change, blah, blah, blah. So Bezos, who controls Whole Foods market through Amazon, has not publicly responded. Why the fuck would he? Like, if he would respond to every time 5,000 people make a petition, like, he would just get thousands of petitions. So the petition creator could not be reached for comment. Okay. Why is this even an article? But anyway, yeah, I was right. I really hate it when people put a price on things that... Because when I say that it's priceless, it literally is. Like, there is no fucking price. Like, please correct me if I speak English properly. There is no price that could be set on that painting that would be up for sale. I mean, if the French government is making $1 trillion a year... Right? Like, if you were to offer it 10 trillion, which is like a shockingly high amount, they would say no, because they make 10 trillions in 10 years. Tavares, you are assigning value to icons of an oppressive regime. Very counter-revolutionary. I love that. You know, it's a funny thing, because a lot of people will tell you that the Mona Lisa is not a good painting. And honestly, it's fucking not. Like, chat, I will tell you something here. It's going to shock your mind. My fucking Sakubasu is much better than this shit. Unironically. Right? My Sakubasu is much better than this. However... Like, there are two things that make this good. First of all, when this was made, the, what should I say? The tools required to make this painting and the process, right, was a lot more difficult. Like, you didn't have, Photoshop with different layers to give different lighting and stuff like that. So, you know, I appreciate it. Even though it looks like shit today... Like, even though you can do, like, if you're skilled as an artist, you can draw better. Like Supergirl in the comic book looks better than this shit. I do agree that with the technology back then, this was difficult to accomplish. However, um, she wasn't really famous in the beginning. Like in the beginning, when the Mona Lisa was first made, it was just like another painting. From what I understand, it got stolen, and it was like an entire pursuit of the thieves and trying to find them. And they even like took a train to a different country, and there was like a whole adventure based around it. So it's basically like the history of the painting that made it famous. And because of the history is why it is as famous as it is today, right? And something is famous based on how many people desire it. And because a lot of people desire to see it, and they go to France in order to watch this shit, that's why Mona Lisa is so precious. I bet you didn't know that. I bet you didn't know. But overwhelmingly, it's an ugly fucking painting. SRC, only someone that thinks tapping a banana to a wall in art would be buying and eating and destroying the Mona Lisa. Is the world changing to a good way? 5,000 idiots makes me angry. But it's more like, why the fuck would Forbes even talk about it? Say, if I make a petition and it gets 5,000 views, no one would talk about it. But for some fucking reason, that's newsworthy. I wouldn't be shocked if Forbes themselves started the petition. Does the Mona Lisa have eyebrows? No, it does not. Honestly, like, there is nothing about this painting that I fucking like. It's a picture of a twat. Okay. She looks like she would vote Democrat. But like, unironically, like, yeah, she doesn't have eyebrows. That's a good observation. Her hair is nothing spectacular. There's no booba. What exactly is it about this painting that is supposed to be wow? I guess like it has background, right? So like the artist probably charged extra $50 to put a background on it. Again, like with the technique from back then, I guess. But like the fact, like okay, let me put it this way. It's not a bad painting, okay? It's a mediocre painting from the point of view of a museum, right? So like this goes in a museum. It means that it's like incredibly valued. Okay, well you're comparing it with other shits in museums. And there are other paintings in museums that are much more beautiful, detailed, and take a lot more skill to do than this. But again, it's the history of this. It's the fact that it was stolen. And people liked it. Because they read about it in the newspaper. And it was like a little story on how to get it back. It literally doesn't have booba. Hello, Brie. It's not even the best picture from that time. Dude, there are so many cool pictures. No, it's not a stupid take. You're stupid, Libertas. You're like a sheep. It's because everyone says it's a good picture, you say it's a good picture as well. Like honestly, I will show you a good picture. Alright, hold on. Let me show you a good picture. Right? Let me show you what a good picture needs to look like. Alright? Also made by a Frenchman. Where the fuck is it? Give me a second, it's loading. Look at this. Look at this beauty. Look at it. Look how detailed it is. When you zoom in, when you zoom fucking in, you get to see all of the small details. There's a little blush over here, right? It's got like the shading. See, I understand the terminology. Like, the artist actually had to take and draw these things, right, by hand. You don't see this shit on the Mona Lisa. Where the fuck are these on the Mona Lisa? You don't get to see them, right? Look at it. Look how much emotion is in these eyes. Just look at these eyes. Look how much emotion is in it. She's got, look, the light is being reflected to this fucking hair clipping. How is it biased? Shut the fuck up. This is not biased. This is reality. Look at it. Like, he actually had to take a different color in order to make this, to create the illusion that this hair is standing on top. Dude, like, this is art. I'm sorry. Like, this is the thing that needed to go in the museum. Look, just zoom in. Zoom in. You zoom in, and when you zoom in, instead of seeing like pixelated shit, the details are still there. Like, you get to see this jewel, you know, with different lighting. Like, it reflects the light. Dude, like, this is art. I'm sorry. This actually needs to go into the museum. Look at it. Like, you got shadows. You got shadows on this shit. Look, like, up on here, right? Like, it's like her upper arm is, like, shadowy, and the lower arm. Dude. How is this like Kumaring? Dude, if this is Kumaring, so is the Mona Lisa. The moment you see a woman that's got like a pretty body, is not like a plump American, you immediately think Kumar. Shut the fuck up. The anime girl does look attractive. However, she screams yandere. How is she screaming yandere? Dude, she even has a cool broom. Like, I made the broom for her. Hold on. Let me show you. Like, I made a Disney-like broom. Well, I didn't make it. I commissioned it. But still, it's mine now. Look at this. Hold on. Let me show you how beautiful. Before I show you, I need to check that there's no naughtiness. Alright. It's fine. Look at it. Like, she even has a broom. It's like old Walt Disney style. And I bet she even has like a nickname for the broom, because women would do that. Like, if a woman had this, like, she would definitely give it a nickname. It would probably be like Mr. Mops or something like that. I'll have to think of a nickname for. But this is fucking art. I'm sorry. This is good. It's good. Fucking Mona Lisa. $100 billion. What the fuck? I don't think that Mona Lisa belongs in the trash. I think it's way overrated. That's what I think. I think it belongs in a museum, definitely. I think that it's a good work of art. I do think it's overrated, overhyped. Just like, and I'll say it now. All right, I'll say it now. Get ready. The Eiffel Tower, also overrated as fuck. The Eiffel Tower. Do you know? Like, let me tell you about the Eiffel Tower. A lot of chuckleheads are going to go out and they're going to tell you, oh, when you visit Paris, when you visit that city that smells like trash and it has hobos everywhere and you kind of mix it with California, but you're not really sure, go to the Eiffel Tower at night. Because that's when the Eiffel Tower is beautiful. Yeah, because if you go during the day, you may get mugged. And if you manage to not get mugged, you will see that the thing is rusted. It's rusted, right? So you go during the night because it looks pretty with the fucking lights on. Like, when someone tells you go see something at night, what they're telling you is like, you know, when you go out with a woman and she is so ugly, but like you're kind of drunk, so you want to, you know, do the one night stand anyway, and you turn the light off, right? Like that is literally what they're trying to say. You do not go like with a hot 10 out of 10 waifu and do it with the light off. That just doesn't happen, right? So like, whenever someone tells you, oh, like, go visit Paris during the night, it's so fucking beautiful, it's because it looks like shit. It smells like shit. It is shit. If you want to visit France, there are other cities that I would highly recommend. Definitely not Paris. And do not go to Disney because it's rat infested. And I'm not talking about the mouse. Hello V, my boy, up here, shilling his sakibasu over a Anticron Shadow art piece. Well, it's fucking true. I'm sorry, it is. Dude, you think I'm French? You think I have Francophobia? You think that I suffer from Francophobia? Go ask actual French people that live in Paris. Alright, go ask them if they like Paris. No one from Paris likes Paris. Again, there are other cities outside of Paris that are very nice to visit. Demo, Shikushi, if you go to France, get the fuck out of Paris. It's expensive. There's nothing to do. You just have like cafe after cafe after cafe and tourist traps. You will be robbed. You will regret this. You will feel like they have reached into your pocket, like Macron himself reached into your pocket and stole your money. You're going to regret that destination. Do I have French people in the fucking chat? Oi. Oui. Any French people from Europe, not Canada. French Canadians don't count. French Canadians are Canadians. Where's my French people? There is to be French people. Where are they? Not a single French person? Jesus fucking Christ. I'll show it to my artist then. Holy shit. Stepped on a bee? Alright, oui. No, you don't need to speak French. You gotta be from France. I don't have a single French person. Yeah. French don't speak English. That is true. But like, no, unironically, like people from France tell me not to go to Paris. My cousin lived in Paris. How the fuck do you think I know about this shit? It's like, you know, going to America and someone telling you stay away from California. Like, if you want to visit the United States, go to Florida. Like there's nice places in Vermont, you know, like if you want to see like the country life and shit. Don't go to California. And if I say that to someone, oh, you hate America. No, I don't. I'm being realistic. You want to get mugged? You want to get shot? Go to California then. Fine. I didn't say anything like, oh my god, you're offensive. Okay, but you're not saying that I'm wrong, are you? Why not go to Vermont? Vermont is where Six X and Hammer is. They got cows. They got a dairy. I heard it's cool in Vermont. Ironically, Florida is also pretty international. It's not about being international or not, man. Like that is... Okay, look. When you go to a place that's a tourist trap, like you go to Tokyo or you go to some place, it's expected that it's going to have like high prices and it's going to be a tourist trap and a lot of the shit is overrated. Like, I get that. But at least you're not getting fucking mugged. At least you don't get to see the trash on the streets. Me, when your country is starting to get overrun with the chic, I don't blame them for hating France. No, that's not it. That's not it. The problem, first of all, is the high prices, the overhyped stuff. Like, again, the Eiffel Tower that they keep hyping up is fucking, like it looks like it's rusted. From my point of view, when I saw it, it's awful. And then you got, like, Disneyland. And Disneyland is also shit. And the smell is disgusting. So like, I have been to other capital cities. It's not as bad. And then you also can get mugged. It's like... At least, you know, when you go to Spain, you just risk getting mugged. If you act like a tourist. And by the way, like, this is like, Western Europe has flipped with Eastern Europe. If you go to Poland, you go to Bucharest, you don't have to worry about crime. Like, it's very unlikely if you're a tourist you're going to get mugged. Now it's Western Europe. Like, if you go to Western Europe, like, you need to make sure that your hand is on your wallet at all time. Best leave it at the hotel. Just take as much as you need. So anyway, right, if you go to Spain, you still risk getting mugged if you act like a tourist. However, it doesn't smell like shit. It's actually got good food. Anyway. That's my take. I don't know. If you want to go to Disney, go to Florida. Unironically, but it's like a 12-hour flight. A lot more expensive. You know, like SRC, if I said, oh, if you want to go to Disney, go to Paris. It's kind of inconvenient, isn't it, for an American to do that? Like how many planes... Do you know how many planes you would have to take? So, like, I'm from Romania. I would have to first take a plane to London. So, Bucharest, London. No, I would first have to go to Bucharest, which is the capital. Because I don't think I have, like, direct flights from my town. I may be wrong. I would have to check. But let's assume I would have from my town, right? So, like, it would be my town to London. Then London to New York. Then New York to Florida. I mean, that's like 3... Dude, like, I can't do that. I'm sorry. And that's just, like, to get there. Like, in order to come back, you need to take 3 other flights. Fuck that shit. Anyway, right. I guess that's pretty much it. I'm a little bit tired now, so I'm going to go and I don't know what I'll do. I'll probably talk with the people that work on my video game, because Zephyr wanted to talk to me. Left me 12 fucking messages, chat. 12 fucking messages. Must be important. I'll see you guys. Take it easy.